All right, let's open the intelligence file on the world's most elite cyber adversaries. Now, these aren't your everyday hackers. We're talking about highly sophisticated, state-sponsored groups with the power of entire nations behind them. And their primary target, the United States. Let's dive right in.
Now, just so you know where all this is coming from, everything we're about to cover in this explainer comes directly from a fantastic, super detailed threat report by the cybersecurity firm SOC Radar. We're just breaking down their key findings for you.
I want to start with a single number, 70.76%. Just let that sink in for a second. It's a massive figure, but what in the world does it actually mean in the context of cyber threats? Well, that is the projected increase in targeted cyber attacks by nation-states by the year 2026. And let's be super clear here, this isn't just random hacking. No, this is a calculated strategic surge in cyber warfare and espionage. The digital battlefield is definitely heating up. So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll get a lay of the land, this new digital battlefield. Then, we're opening up the case files on 3 major players, China, Russia, and North Korea. And finally, we'll talk about how organizations can actually build their own digital fortress to stay safe. All right, first things first, let's get a handle on the landscape. This has gone way beyond simple cybercrime. We're in a new era of constant, state-level digital conflict. In this new battlefield, things like data and network access, well, they're the new territories to be fought over and conquered. Okay, kicking things off, our first threat profile, China. And if there's one word that defines their strategy according to the report, it's patience. You really have to think of it as long-term espionage, not just quick smash-and-grab jobs. They are absolutely in it for the long haul. And that brings us to a really key threat actor known as Salt Typhoon. This group is the perfect example of China's patient approach. See, they're not just trying to steal one file and get out. Their main goal is to set up a quiet, long-term presence deep inside their targets' networks, basically becoming a permanent, hidden fly on the wall. So let's break down their playbook, shall we? Their method is classic cyber espionage. Their targets are what you might call the crown jewels, critical infrastructure, government agencies, and major telecommunications companies. But the really crucial part here is the goal, long-term persistent access. They want to be inside the house indefinitely, just watching, listening, and learning. And of course, they're not working alone. Another major group called APT5 has a different specialty. They focus on super targeted spear phishing campaigns, going after people in the aerospace and defense industries, trying to trick them into giving up their login info. All right, let's close that file and open a new one. We're shifting our focus now to Russia. And their style of operation, it's a complete 180 from China's. This is all about aggressive disruption. It's less about quiet listening and way more about causing chaos and projecting power. And the poster child for this approach is the infamous group APT28, who you've probably heard of by their other name, Fancy Bear. This group is linked to Russia's GRU intelligence agency, and they are notorious for their loud, bold operations that are designed to make headlines. Their tactics are pretty direct: data theft and infiltration. They're especially known for going after common vulnerabilities, like those found in Microsoft Exchange, to break in. And their targets are highly strategic: government, military, and logistics. Basically, anything that can disrupt an enemy's ability to function. They also work with other notorious groups, like Sandworm. Our final threat profile today is North Korea. And honestly, their motivation is in a category all its own. While China is after intelligence and Russia wants to cause disruption, North Korea's main driver is simple: money. Their cyber operations are basically state-sponsored bank heists, designed to fund the regime. A key player in this space is the group known as Kim Suk-hee. They are incredibly adaptive, constantly coming up with new, innovative ways to get around security. For instance, they've perfected a really clever technique that uses something many of us see every single day. And this tactic is it's brilliant in a terrifying way. Kim Suk-hee has been using what's called QR code phishing. I mean, think about it. Instead of sending a suspicious link that your company's email filter might block, they just embed a simple QR code in an email. An employee scans it with their phone, completely bypassing all that email security, and boom, they're taken straight to a malicious website. It's a genius way to literally jump over the digital fence. But their creativity doesn't end with QR codes. No. North Korea also has this long-game strategy of placing state-sponsored IT workers using fake identities into jobs at tech companies all over the globe. Groups like UNC 1549 do this, collecting a paycheck while at the same time creating backdoors and planting vulnerabilities from the inside out. Okay, so we've profiled the adversaries and their very distinct playbooks. The next logical question is, how on earth do you defend against all this? Let's move to our final section and look at the blueprints for building a solid digital fortress. So really, with these incredibly sophisticated, patient, and aggressive threats coming at you from all sides, how can any organization realistically hope to defend itself? Well, the good news is the SOC Radar report boils it down to three fundamental pillars of defense. First, identity. You've got to reinforce authentication to know exactly who is on your network. Second, security. You need to simplify and strengthen email and mobile security because those are the most common ways in. And third, monitoring. Relentlessly keep an eye on your entire supply chain for weaknesses. Let's dig into that first step. Reinforcing authentication means going way, way beyond just a password. As you can see, it starts with the big one, implementing multi-factor authentication, or MFA, everywhere you possibly can. It also means monitoring for suspicious OAuth grants. That's when you click allow to let an app access your data, and really scrutinizing any unusual device logins. A huge part of modern defense is just being proactive. Tools like dark web monitoring are constantly scanning the hidden corners of the internet, looking for leaked employee credentials. The goal is simple, right? Find out your password has been stolen before an attacker gets a chance to use it. And finally, this might be one of the most important takeaways. You have to remember that you are only as strong as your weakest link. Supply chain intelligence is absolutely crucial. It helps you monitor all your third-party partners and vendors for their vulnerabilities. Because so often, the attack doesn't come through your front door. It slips in through a side door that a trusted partner left unlocked. And all of this leaves us with one final, kind of unsettling thought to chew on. As espionage, disruption, and theft all move from the physical world into the digital one, we have to ask a new question. In this new era of global conflict, is the front line now everywhere? And that is our intelligence briefing for today. Hey, if you found this breakdown of the digital battlefield valuable, please do us a huge favor and take a moment to click that like button and subscribe. Your support is seriously what allows us to keep making these explainers. Thanks so much for watching.